so you're thinking about adopting a retired racing greyhound. Cool. Maybe you're wondering what it's like to actually have one as a pet. Like, are they always zooming around? Are they couch potatoes? Just how much space do they need? We're going to figure all that out in this deep dive into the world of greyhounds. We've got some awesome sources like the American Kennel Club, even a YouTube video from a greyhound owner, and of course we have our expert here to walk us through it all.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Greyhounds are a really interesting breed, and there's a lot of, misconceptions about them, so hopefully we can clear some of that up today.
Great. So to start off, where do these speed demons even come from? I mean, yeah, we all know they're fast, but what's the history there?
Well, their history actually goes way back, like way further back than you might think. Ancient Egypt. Back then, they were bred for speed and used for hunting in the desert.
Whoa, desert hunters.
Hmm.
So I guess those long legs were made for covering some serious ground. How did they go from like the deserts of Egypt to, well, everywhere else?
That's a good question. Over time, greyhounds spread, all over the world. In medieval Europe, they actually became a symbol of nobility.
Hmm.
Only the elite were allowed to own them.
From desert hunters to royal companions. That's pretty cool. But speaking of their hunting routes, everyone knows greyhounds are fast. Like, really fast. How fast are we actually talking?
They're officially the fastest dog breed. They can get up to speeds over 40 miles an hour.
40 miles an hour. That's crazy. What makes them such amazing runners? Is it just the long legs?
Well, it's more than just that. They have this thing called a double suspension gallop, which basically means all four of their feet leave the ground twice during every stride. Plus, their build is, super aerodynamic, flexible spine, powerful hind legs. It's all made for speed.
It's like they're born to run.
Yeah.
No wonder they've been such popular racing dogs for so long.
Right. But the racing industry has had its issues, which is why we see a lot of retired greyhounds looking for homes.
Yeah, that's sad to hear, but it's great that so many people are willing to give these dogs a second chance.
Exactly. And a lot of people are surprised by how well greyhounds adapt to being pets. They might be, champions on the track, but they have a surprisingly chill side, too.
Oh, so they're not just little balls of energy all the time.
Nope. They're actually known for being gentle, quiet, even a bit sensitive. They've got this on-off switch personality where they can go from, like, sprinting at lightning speed to napping on the couch in a second.
So they're like the canine equivalent of a high-performance sports car that loves to nap.
Pretty much. But what about their looks? I mean, they're a pretty striking breed.
Yeah, for sure.
Greyhounds, they're known for being tall and slender. Those really long legs, deep chests. They have a very graceful, almost aerodynamic look.
And their coats are so sleek.
Yeah.
But I've seen them in a ton of different colors. What's up with that?
You're right, they come in a huge variety of colors. Everything from white and brindle to fawn, black, red, even blue, like a grayish blue. And those colors can be, alone or in different combinations.
So there's a greyhound out there for everybody. Now let's talk health. No dog breed's perfect, and greyhounds have their own things right.
True. Their average lifespan is around 10 to 13 years, but they can be prone to certain health issues. For instance, they're sensitive to some types of anesthesia and some common insecticides. So it's really important to find a vet who's familiar with the breed.
Finding a vet who knows their greyhounds is key. Any other specific things that, potential adopters should keep in mind?
Well, something kind of unique to greyhounds is their susceptibility to delayed hemorrhage. After surgery or trauma, it means they can bleed, excessively hours after an injury or a procedure. So vets need to be aware of that.
That's scary. Is that a common issue?
It can be. Just another reason to have a vet who's experienced with greyhounds. They also tend to have lower thyroxine levels than other breeds, which can mess with their metabolism.
Wow, so there's more to their health than you might think.
For sure. We haven't even mentioned their blood chemistry, which is kind of unique. Their blood test results can be different compared to other breeds.
Okay, so finding a greyhound-savvy vet is definitely top of the list for anyone thinking about adoption.
Got it. Now, what about actually living with a greyhound? I mean, they're elite athletes, but are they also couch potatoes? What's the scoop?
Honestly, one of the biggest misconceptions about greyhounds is that they need a ton of exercise because of their racing background. But really, they're pretty laid back.
Really? So no bouncing off the walls all day?
Not really. A couple of walks a day and some playtime is usually enough to keep them happy. And with their short coat, grooming is super easy.
Low maintenance on the exercise and grooming? Nice.
Exactly. But there are a few things to keep in mind. Greyhounds have a pretty strong prey drive, so if you have other small pets like cats or rabbits, You need to be careful and always supervise them.
Makes sense. Don't want them mistaking a cat for a furry little rabbit, so leashes are must when you're out and about.
Absolutely. Another thing is greyhounds can have something called sleep startle.
Sleep startle or sleep aggression. It means they can get startled, maybe even nippy, if they're woken up suddenly from a deep sleep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So if it's sacked out on the couch, I should probably just let sleeping dogs lie.
Exactly. Give them their space, let them wake up naturally, and everyone's happier. Greyhounds, they do best in quiet homes with a predictable routine. They're sensitive and need a calm, loving environment.
So if you want a dog who's down for a good cuddle on the couch, maybe a jog in the park, and isn't going to bark the house down, a greyhound could be a good fit.
Totally. And when you adopt a retired racer, you're giving a dog a second chance at a happy life. It's a really rewarding experience.
I love that. It's a win-win.
Yeah, it really is. It's amazing to watch them, just blossom in a loving home. They're so eager to please and they really crave affection.
It's funny you should mention that. In that YouTube video we watched, the owner actually called their greyhound a Velcro dog.
Oh, yeah.
They said it was like having this furry shadow following them everywhere.
That's so true. They really do, attach to their people.
It's so sweet to hear that. Speaking of sweet, have you heard about how much greyhounds love to sleep? They've practically perfected napping.
Oh, absolutely. They're famous for it. Someone once called them like 45-mile-per-hour couch potatoes.
That's hilarious. But it makes sense, right? They burn so much energy running, they need those naps.
Yeah, it's true. And I think that's another reason why they're becoming such popular pets. They're athletic, but also super low maintenance when it comes to exercise.
That's a huge plus for people who, live in apartments or don't have a big backyard. A couple walks a day, some playtime, and they're good.
Exactly. And they're so quiet, not really known for barking.
Which is definitely a bonus if you have neighbors close by.
Yeah.
And that short coat makes grooming super easy.
Absolutely. No fancy haircuts or like hours of brushing. Just a quick brush every now and then keeps them looking good.
So we've got a breed that's smart, affectionate, low maintenance, quiet, and athletic. What's not to love?
I know, right? They really are great dogs.
But, of course, any dog is a big commitment. And greyhounds, they have their own, unique needs.
Right. People who want to adopt one really need to do their research, make sure they're ready for the responsibility. We talked about, their prey drive, their sensitivity, and that potential for separation anxiety. Those are all things to really think about.
Yeah, for sure. It's about finding the right fit for your lifestyle. So let's say someone's listening and they're thinking, yep, a greyhound is for me. What's next? How do they actually find one to adopt?
That's a great question. Luckily, there are a lot of resources out there. First place I'd recommend is your local Greyhound adoption group.
Those groups that focus on finding homes for retired racers.
Exactly. They're usually run by volunteers who really care about these dogs. They can answer questions, help you find a good match, and walk you through the process.
It's like having a matchmaker for greyhounds and their people.
Haha, you could say that. You can find a list of reputable adoption groups online, websites like the American Kennel Club, or just a quick Google search. A lot of shelters also have greyhounds, so checking with your local shelters is a good idea too.
Great point. Sounds like there's no shortage of ways to connect with these awesome dogs. So if you're ready to open your home to a loving dog, a greyhound might just be perfect for you.
I totally agree. They're really special.
All right, well, I think we've covered just about everything about greyhounds. Anything else you want to add? Any last bits of advice for potential greyhound parents?
I think the most important thing is to go into it with, an open mind and a loving heart. These dogs have been through a lot, but they're so resilient and eager to please.
That's a great point. And don't be afraid to ask questions. The adoption groups, the shelters, they're there to help you every step of the way.
For sure. Oh, and one last thing. Be prepared to be amazed by a greyhound's love and loyalty.
I think that's a perfect way to put it. They really do steal your heart.
They do. As we're wrapping up this deep dive into the world of greyhounds, I keep thinking about something we mentioned earlier, their incredible athleticism.
Right. We talked about their speed and how agile they are, but we didn't really get into, the details of how their bodies are built for all that.
Exactly. Greyhounds have some pretty unique physical traits that, set them apart. For example, did you know that they have a higher percentage of fast-twitch muscle fibers than any other breed?
Seriously, that's the secret to their speed.
It's a big part of it, yeah. Those fast twitch fibers let them accelerate so quickly and hit those crazy speeds.
Yeah.
They also have higher red blood cell counts than other breeds, which means their muscles get more oxygen.
Wow. It's like they're canine super athletes. Their bodies are like finely tuned machines.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
But it's not all about power and speed. There's another interesting thing. They tend to have lower platelet levels than other breeds.
Platelets, those are the things that help with blood clotting, right?
Right. And that can be a concern during surgery or if they get hurt because it means they might bleed more.
Oh, wow. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, it's definitely something to be aware of. And it's another reason why having a vet who really understands greyhound physiology is important.
It makes sense. It's amazing how much we can learn about a breed by looking at their biology.
It really is. And I think it helps us appreciate these amazing dogs even more.
Well said. And I think that's a perfect note to end on. We've uncovered the history, the heart, and even some of the, hidden biological secrets of greyhounds.
Yeah, it really is amazing what we've learned. I feel like I could go on and on about greyhounds now.
Mhm.
But for all you listeners out there, we hope this deep dive has given you a new way of looking at these awesome dogs, Maybe even got you thinking about adoption.
They really are remarkable. And, as we wrap things up, it makes me think about the future of greyhounds. We talked about their history with racing, but what about their future as pets? That's a good question. I mean, as more people learn about what amazing companions they are, I bet their popularity as pets is only going to go up.
Yeah, I think so too. And as, people become more aware of the problems with greyhound racing, maybe more will choose to adopt instead of supporting that industry.
That would be incredible. More greyhounds getting a chance at a happy life in a loving home.
Exactly. And it could mean more opportunities for them to use their athleticism in, good ways. We talked about lure coursing, and there's also agility training, that kind of thing. Stuff that lets them run and play, but in a safe way.
I can totally picture them zooming through an agility course. Perfect way to let them be athletic while keeping them safe and happy.
Totally. And it's a
Yeah.
great way for them to, bond with their owners and just have fun.
It's awesome to think about these amazing dogs finding their forever homes and living their best lives.
Yeah, it really is. It shows how resilient they are, and how much love they have to give.
Absolutely. Well, I think this is the perfect place to wrap things up. We've learned about their history, their personalities, even some of the biological stuff that makes them unique.
It's been a really fun journey.
It has. And for everyone listening, we hope this deep dive has given you a new appreciation for these dogs. If you're even thinking about adopting a greyhound, reach out to your local adoption group or shelter. You won't regret it.
I agree. They're such special dogs. With their gentle nature, their, goofy personalities, and their endless love, they're bound to steal your heart.
That's the perfect way to put it. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those tails wagging.